Hi, I'm Logan Medish, and this is High Caliber History. Today, I'm at Lewis & Grant Auctions looking at some of the impressive arms that they have coming up at their May 2021 Arms and Armor sale. And the piece in front of me is a really cool gun. It is a 1860 Morse centerfire alteration to what was a single-shot muzzle-loading rifle. Very, very cool gun, and we will get into all the specifics of it in a minute. But first, a little bit of background on the guns and who exactly was Morse and why is he important. So, in 1856, machinist and arms inventor George Woodward Morse, who was from Baton Rouge, Louisiana, he set a government record. He had received the highest arms-related royalty payment made by the United States government to any one individual at that time. Secretary of War John Floyd had conferred upon Morse the right to alter 2,000 of the muzzle-loading muskets using his new breech-loading design. And for his efforts, he was paid initially a flat fee of $10,000 for his efforts, plus he also was to receive $5 for each gun that he converted. And of course, if you do the math, $5, 2,000 guns, that's another 10 grand. So it comes out to Morse making $20,000 on these guns in the mid-1850s. When you adjust that for inflation, we're looking at about $620,000 today in 2021, which was a new record for the United States government at that time. So why the Morse alteration of the muzzle loaders into the breech loader? Well, breech loaders were the way of the future, and the guns that received the Morse conversion had already been converted in other ways that previously were viewed to be the way of the future throughout their history. So the guns that got this kind of conversion had started their life as Model 1816 Flintlock muskets that had been previously rifled and converted from flintlock to percussion using the cone and barrel or Belgian method. Now this particular gun here was originally made in 1839, and it bears cartouches that are JM and TW, and those stand for Justin Murphy and Thomas Warner. And there is also a sub-inspector marking of AH for Asahel Hubbard. Now the way the Morse conversion worked on these guns to take them from percussion muzzle loading guns to centerfire breech loading guns was by removing a portion of the rear part of the barrel and replacing it with the breech loading mechanism. And so the way it worked, in order to load the gun, the hammer, which has this interesting alteration, has to be brought back to half cock. And then we've got these two serrated tabs on the side that you pull back, and that unlocks the breech block. And it then pivots up like this, and it's got that hinge mechanism there. And as we come over, the breech block comes back and allows you to load your cartridge into the chamber of the gun here. And then once you've loaded the cartridge into the gun, you just slide this mechanism forward again, push down on it nice and tight, and slide those two tabs forward to lock it into place. It's really neat because on the top of this gun, on this mechanism, you can see that we have in the breech block this really interesting extended firing pin mechanism that works in order to fire the gun, that's been incorporated into the breech block and also locks down into the mechanism as well. In 1858, 1,000 of these guns were sent to Springfield Armory so that Morse could actually do the conversions on them. Within a year, though, 400 of those 1,000 guns had been returned to government storage. And all told, only 56 of them actually received the Morse conversion. The remaining guns were sold for parts at public auction, and it's believed that only 20 of the completed 56 are still known to exist. So 20 out of 56 out of 2,000. I mean, those are really interesting, impressive numbers that we're dealing with here. This is a truly rare an exceptional example of early breech loading technology being adapted to earlier firearms, and it's really cool to see the evolution of this gun having started out as a flintlock, and then it gets converted into percussion later in life because percussion is seen as the way of the future. And then as time moves on, we see the breech loading designs come into being, and this gun gets new life for a third time with the Morse conversion on here. So it's really, really neat to see the adaptive reuse, if you will, of these firearms through time and how they were made to be kept in service life for as long as possible before the government would have to completely replace them with something new. So this gun, again, is available in the May 2021 Arms and Armor auction from Lewis and Grant Auctions. I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you learned something about this really rare Morse prototype alteration here. And thanks for watching the video, and we'll see you again on the next episode of High Caliber History.